Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got to give you this heartbreaking story, another one straight out of Chicago, Illinois, where a 42-year-old man in broad daylight on the west side of Chicago, for those of you who don't know, got shot and killed, murdered in broad daylight, leaving his cousin's liquor store, and he was doing a Facebook Live in his car and got gunned down. I'm bringing this all up because a lot of people, Republicans and Democrats, folks are all concerned about Donald Trump, President Trump sending in the National Guard to particular cities. As we know, he sent them into Los Angeles County due to the immigration issues and the ICE issues. And now you heard about him sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C. Well, the mayor of Washington, D.C. is saying that the murder rate is down. Down from what? Washington, D.C. has been the number 4 city for the most murders over the last 35 years. Baltimore, Maryland, innumerable amount of homicide shootings that are taking place. Atlanta, Georgia, has an innumerable amount of shootings, murders, and mayhem. And definitely Chicago, Illinois, which is another city that President Trump said he was thinking about sending in the National Guard. And I think he should. We've talked about previously whether it's been with Black Lives Matter wanting to defund the police, when all they did was defund their own nonprofit organization by spending all the money personally, and you don't hear a thing from them. They never protested for black-on-black crime. Most of these cities that are being inundated with these homicides in the urban market are black-on-black crime. So black Democrats should be at an uproar about all of these homicides. You also have a scenario where the police are already defunded, in a sense, by numbers. Chicago needs about 2,500 police officers. Chicago is a blue city. New York City needs about 3,500 police officers. It's a blue city under Eric Adams. Chicago is ran by Brandon Johnson, who's doing a terrible job. Washington, D.C. has a black female mayor, Bowser. And of course, L.A., Los Angeles County, or Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, has a black female mayor. So it makes you wonder what is going on with these blue cities and these crazy numbers of murders. Well, Chicago, Brandon Johnson said Chicago's crime numbers are down, just like the mayor of D.C. said. Down from what? People are getting shot and killed in Chicago every day. They don't call it Little Chirac for nothing. And you have, furthermore, with the hypocrisy, we have our first black president, Barack Obama, who came out of Chicago as a Democrat. And the 8 years of him being in office, he did nothing for black folks. Absolutely nothing. Just his presence alone, I guess, was enough. They call that identity politics. Crime during his tenure did not decrease. Carjackings, looting, property damage, assaults did not drop. And post his presidential run, he has done even less for Chicago. He got his entire claim and fame from Chicago, and you don't hear anything from him along the lines of trying to salvage and save the citizens of Chicago. And his wife is from Chicago, Michelle Obama. And now, on top of all of that, Barack Obama is spending upwards of $850 million for this ugly building that is going to be his presidential center in Chicago. $850 million, almost $1 billion. ex-President Barack Obama could be using some of that money to deter violence in some kind of nonprofit gun violence prevention program, like Cure Violence that's in Chicago. But none of these organizations have tempered or lowered the numbers of homicides. And for us as black folks, we're the only race of people who talk about policing ourselves. It is the worst thing we can do. And now I believe that President Trump should send the National Guard into Chicago. He probably should have sent the National Guard into Chicago first. I love Chicago, but Chicago is falling apart one brick by one brick each and every day. They have a 50% vacancy in commercial real estate along Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago, the West Loop, the South Loop, and Chicago is falling to pieces. And when President Trump talks about there are too many murders, this is a white president. Barack Obama was black. He never talked about any of the homicide rates or the number of murders of black on black crimes at all. And for a white president, President Trump, to come in and say he wants to curb this violence, and starting with certain cities like Washington, D.C. and Chicago, I think is a great thing. And here is living proof. The story I'm getting ready to tell you now just happened within a week ago, where loved ones witnessed a man fatally shot during Facebook live stream in a South Austin parking lot. And we have to, black Democrats have this huge, copious amount of love and this false utopian affair with ex-President Barack Obama, which I don't understand. And on the flip side, there's this certain pugnacious negativity shown towards President Donald Trump. It makes no sense. Chicago police are investigating the shooting death of a man shot while in the middle of a Facebook live stream on the city's west side. This just happened. Gun violence is at a premium today in cities like Chicago, St. Louis, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, etc., Philadelphia. A video viewed by almost 2 million times or people on Facebook showed Kevin Watson, 42, getting out of a car, and seconds later, gunfire can be heard. It happened mere blocks away from the police station in South Austin. Mere blocks. Now remember, Chicago police need about 2,500 new police officers. Close friends of the victim who witnessed the deadly shooting spoke exclusively to ABC7. The shooting happened around 6:14 p.m. It's not even nighttime. Wednesday in the 500 block of West Madison Street in South Austin, Chicago, police said. Watson was sitting in a car when another vehicle approached and someone inside began shooting. He died from his injuries. The Cook County Medical Examiner confirmed the victim's identity. Watson's family and friends have been left in mourning after his final moments were captured on Facebook Live. Someone said, Watson's cousin said he was choking for breath. Watson's cousin, Jaquaz Smith, said he was trying to struggle to breathe. All of it unfolded right after Watson left his cousin's job at a nearby liquor store to begin his Facebook Live in a car. So he went to see his cousin, maybe get something out of the liquor store, and he was leaving. And allegedly the cousin said that Watson got him the job at the liquor store. He said, I wouldn't have let him walk outside of the store, Smith said. He was a good man no matter what he done. He helped people, he helped me get this job here. Close friends turned heartbroken witnesses and said Watson was talking to someone as he was walking to his car. He was talking to a guy and he was going to his car. And then the guy followed behind him. Alvin Jackson, a close friend and witness. So the guy followed behind him and pulled the gun on him. He was trying to wrestle with the gun and the gun went off. Police said the 40-year-old man was shot in his chest. He said, his friend and witness said, I rubbed his palm and squeezed his hand, and he didn't squeeze back, said Lamar Spencer, a close friend. Relatives said that he leaves behind a 6-year-old son and said Watson was killed just weeks shy of his own birthday. We're going to have to figure out how to move on and be strong day by day to help each other to get past this, because this didn't just hurt one person, a close friend, Freddie Collier, said. This hurt a lot of us. Now, mind you, this happened broad daylight, 6:15 p.m. on the west side of Chicago, and under Brandon Johnson's leadership, he got rid of the spot shooters. He said there was no need for him with the amount of shootings and gun violence that is taking place in Chicago, and they're down 2,500 police officers. Brandon Johnson decided not to use the technology of spot shooters anymore. 60% of homicides in the city of Chicago, and it's definitely of black-on-black crimes, go unsolved. Is this by design or what? They're down 2,500 police officers. 60% of the homicides go unsolved. There's no more spot shooters. Brandon Johnson has built up a $1 billion deficit in his administration, and Governor Pritzker hasn't said a word about Chicago, the largest city in the state of Illinois. What do you think, as a consciously thinking individual, based on humanity, no matter if you're black or white, these are all people. If the police are understaffed, underpaid, and underappreciated, and our public safety is at a premium risk today and is extremely fragile, don't you think that they may need additional help? The governor is the governance of the state of Illinois. The mayor is the governance of the city. And if they're not doing their job, the governance of the United States is held by the president. The National Guard needs to come into Chicago immediately, whether it's due to understaffing of the police force or the politicians and administrators not doing a great job. There's a certain level of callousness and inhumane actions that are being taken against each other, and especially black-on-black folks in Chicago. And this situation with this 42-year-old man, Watson, to die in broad daylight while on Facebook Live is tremendously heartbroken and terrible.